Hey everybody, it's Jada on piano, where we make music make sense. And today we are talking about the circle of thirds. Okay, so last week we talked about the circle of fifths, and I told you we were going to continue with that thought today. This video is going to be much faster than last week, but we're going to be talking about the circle of thirds. And if you ever wanted to know what all the notes choices that were in your chord, this is it. Okay, there's a couple of things we can do with this, but for now let me go ahead and draw it out. What I'm going to do is, because I know the C scale, I know all of my scales, I encourage you to learn all of your scales. I'm going to write the C scale out, and I'm going to write it out twice. Okay, this is not going to be a perfect circle, but we're going to make it work. Okay, hope I'll make it back around, and here we go. Okay, so I've got a whole circle here, right? Now check this out. I'm going to change the color, and then watch what I'm going to do with this, right? I'm going to take this, and this is how we get all our chords, okay? I'm going to start with a C. I want you to see this. C, E. Now look what I'm doing. I'm circling. Here's the circle. And I wrote all the notes so you could see this specifically, okay? We've got the C, and then I skipped the next letter. Then I went again and I circled. Then I skipped the next letter. So circling, skip, circle, skip, circle, skip, circle. That's the F, skip, and circle. Now if you look, there's a circle, skip, circle, skip, circle, skip, all the way around this circle, okay? I'm gonna go back to my black. Now, with this, let's get a different color so we can continue to see what's going on. Okay, with this, here, look at, let me go to another page, okay? Here we go. I'm gonna write them out. Well, let's go back. What we have, let me see. We have C, E, and G. See that? Is that a chord of C? So now I'm going to take that and write it. C. Nope, I'm not going to write it in the blue. I'm going to write it in the black. Forgive me, y'all. I want you to see this. C, E, G. That's what we did, right? Let's go back to the blue. Let's check it. Next chord we happen to see, and I'm noticing this as I'm doing it, but check this out. G, B, and D. And then I'm going to go ahead and highlight the last one I see. F, A, and C. Now, interestingly, the main chords of your key are those exact chords. If you ever wanted to know how to play something in just the most simple fashion, your 1 chord, your 4 chord, and your 5 chord are it. So let me get that down so you can see that. This was the 1, this is the 5, okay, and this was the 4. So it's giving me something else that I'm just now seeing. So I'm gonna put the numbers there. 1, 5. Let's fix that. 1, 5, and then 4. Okay. Now let's keep going further back to the chart so you can see it here. While we're on this, let's look at everything. Let me get a different color so it can be obvious with what we've got. Now I showed you C, E, and G, then G, B, D, then I did F, C, or F, A, and C. Now let me get all of the chords. So we had the C, E, and the G. Now we see that the next note is a D, right? The D is right next to the C. Let me go over to the D. D, F, A. That gave me a triad, and in fact that's the 2 chord. And in fact it's lined up perfectly that our C chord, the 1 chord of a key, if you're talking about a major key, is in fact a major chord. The 2 chord lined up perfectly. It's a minor chord like we have here, D, F, and A. It says the 3rd note is E. Let's go to the E. E, G, B. Okay, that's a minor chord. We see it. What's next? F. Let's go over to the F. F, A, C. We talked about that one. That one is major. It says G is next. We talked about this one. G, B, and D. It's the 5 chord. It's dominant, but it's not going to get dominant until we put the 7th in. So we'll deal with that in a minute. That's the 5 chord. It says A is next. You can see the A right here. Let's go to it. A, C, E. There we go. That's a minor chord. It says B is next. Let's go to the B. Here's my B right here. B, D, and F. That's our diminished chord. So everything lines up. Let me write a chart just for that, okay? And I'm going to write them, again, starting with the black, because I want to do something with this. C. That's a funky looking C. Okay, E, G. We said D, F, and A. Then we said E, G, and B, right? F, A, and C. G, B, and D. A, C, and E. And then B, D, and that should be a D. Let's fix it. D, and F, okay? So those are all 7 chords. Let me put the numbers next to them. This is how we know something like this, really simply, that the number system really works. This should be a 6, okay? 6 and 7. So that's, and that D still looks crazy, doesn't it? Let's make it more D-like. There we go. Okay, so those are all the numbers. Trying to write on your phone screen is special. Let's fix this B so it can be a little bit clearer. B. Okay, so we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are all the chords. Now I could do this with any key. I'm doing it with C right now, but I could do it with any key. So here we go. That's what we have right there. Let me go back up here so you can see the chart. On this chart, not only do I have, I don't want the eraser. I want this right here. Not only do I, let me choose a different color. Not only do I have the triads, check this out. I can go from here, C, E, G, and B. I can do it all the way around. E, G, B, D. G, B, D, F. B, D, F, A. D, F, A, C. F, A, C, E. And A, C, E, G. That's all the way around, right? That's giving us all of our 7th chords. So I'm going to go back down here, and I'm going to put all those on C, E, G, B. D, F, A, C. E, G, B, D. F, A, C, E. G, B, D, F. A, C, E, G. B, D, F, A. Right? So this gives us all of our 7th chords. Let's choose something like this. Let's see. I want to write up here triad 7th. Okay, that's giving us our 7. And I'm going to go further. So we're going. Let's choose something else. We already chose that. How about this purple? Let's go on back up here. We can keep going. So we said C, E, G, B, D, or C, E, G, B, and then the D is next to go there, right? So we can connect all of these with that. E, G, B, D, F, G, B, D, F, A, C. I think I'm too far. A, I should have went to the A, not the F. Oh, I erased too much there, but that's what happens when you use your phone, but it's okay. I was on the G. G, B, D, F, A, B, D, F, A, C, and then B, D, D, F, A, C, E, and then F, A, C, E, G, then A, C, E, G, F, A, C, E, G. That's where we're ending. And then A, C, E, G, B. Back down to our chart. Let's put those in. So the first one was D. The second one was, so C, E, G, B, D, D, F, A, C, and then we need an E. All we're doing, we're skipping those same notes every time. We're using the exact same notes every single time as I'm building this out. E, G, B, D, F, F, A, C, E, G, G, B, D, F, A, C, E, G, B, and then B, D, F, A, and then C. Guess what these are? These are our 9 chords, okay? We're gonna keep going. Guess what? We can put 11s and then, spoiler alert, the 13th. So we got 2 more columns to do. Let's choose a different color. How about the blue? Okay, we did the blue already, but we're gonna go back with it. C. So we need to get an 11 chord. C, E, G, B, D, F. It's our 11. Okay. E, G, B, D, F, and A. G, B, D, F, A, and C. B, D, F, A, C, and E. D, F, A, C, E, G. F, A, C, E, G, B, and A, C, E, G, B, and D. It's going down to our chart. Let's put them in. We need to add the F. Look at the last 2. So E, skip 1, go to the G. Down here, 3rd chord, E, G, B, D, F, A, and then the A is next. Looks like I'm running out of ink, but there's no ink to be running out of. F, A, C, E, G. We need the B. I think when you get closer to the edge, it starts thinning out. But then you got B, G, B, D, F, A, and then C. And then 6th chord, A, C, E, G, B, and then D. B, 7th chord, B, D, F, A, C, and then E. Okay. Now, using that same thought, I don't need to go to the chart. I'm just going to fill in the 13 right here. F jumps to the A. Notice every single time F goes to the A. Here it is here. Here it is here. Here it is here. Here it is here. So I need to go to the A. Okay. Let me choose my last color here. And I'm going to choose this. That yellow is kind of bright. So let's choose something you could see. Okay, so I'm going to put the A here. Look at what the G goes to. Every time the G goes to a B. Every time the E or the A goes to a C. You begin to learn these types of connections and relationships between the notes the more you spend learning your notes, chords, scales, etc. Every time the B goes to a D. Because we're just dealing with the thirds. So this is a good way to just learn third relationships. Every time C goes to the E. Every time D goes to the F. Okay. And the last one, every time the E goes to the G. Now, with all that being said, let me go back to the red here so you can see some of this. Let me pick out the G chord, for instance. G, B, and D. You see that? Here's another G, B, and D stacked up in there. Here's another one. Here's another. Here's another. And I mean, as you can tell, things are wrapping up and around, okay? So those are all the notes that you can have. Now, the circle itself has 2 octaves, right? But stretching across those 2 octaves, we get all of our triads and our 7 chords, our 9 chords, our 11 chords, and our 13 chords. I'm showing you something like this to show you that even in an extended way, all of our chords have a relationship to other chords. In a C chord, you've got a G chord hidden in there, right? But it's not going to be as prominent as obviously over here in a G chord. So, you know, it's hidden up here. But it's prominent because the notes on the left, You know, the notes on the left are deeper and they're stronger and they're more foundational. So this is pretty obvious in the chord. Right here, you see this G is right here. So that G is a little bit more prominent. Now it's less so here, less so, even less so here, but it's still in the chord. So in a broad sense, yeah, this is the most prominent, and maybe this is the weakest of the ones. Well, no, right here. This is probably the weakest of it. But all of these chords, if you needed a function in a very broad sense, I'm not going into that today, but in a very broad sense, if you needed a harmony of a G major, all of these chords could possibly be used in that way. And that's when we're dealing with function, okay? But this video is not about function, it's about the third relationship. So that's something you can see from this chart. Now, let's just briefly have a brief, about 1 to 2 minute conversation on these relationships. We've got the triads, then we had sevenths, then we had ninths, then we had 11, and then we had 13, okay? 13th. So with all of that being said, we have in these categories, okay, you know your triads, those are the 3-note chords. All we did, and all of these chords as presented right now are diatonic. So the chords right here are the notes with no changes. You don't see any sharps or flats. Something like this may sound a little off because of this note. Hold on. I'm thinking of another color. Let me get that. Sorry about that. Phone rang. Something like this will be dissonant in this case, whereas this chord sounds a lot better with very few dissonances. So these are the diatonic chords. Let me go down here, and what I'm getting at is on the ninths, you can have 3 different chord types overall, okay? But no matter what, these are going to be the note that it's going to be on. I'll show you in a second. Ninths have 3 choices. They have the regular ninth, the flat 9, a flat, and a sharp 9, okay? My sharp 9 looks crazy. There's 2 choices for 11 chords. You have the regular 11th, and then you have a sharp 11. You have the regular 13th, there's 2 choices, and then you have a flat 13th, okay? So those are all of our choices as far as that's concerned. This is giving us a whole lot of chord opportunities. So let me scroll back up here. For instance, if I wanted to have a 9 right here on the C chord, I could have the D, which is the regular 9, but I could also either make that D flat or I could make it sharp, okay? So one or the other. If it was a D, if it was a C major chord with a flat 9, you'd see C, E, G, B, and then D flat. You don't necessarily have to use the F and the A every time. You could, you might not. It's up to you. These are how you're getting all your chord choices. Those are the notes that they're going to be, but then you can make it flat or sharp. The F could be sharp, right? Maybe I'll do another video that touches more on these things later, but you see all the chords, okay? And that is kind of, you know, not to take this out too long, but as you can see, that's what, oh, let me do the last one. And then the 13th could be regular or it could be flat. So I just did that on the one chord here, but overall, that's our choices. We got all of these chords though, in their diatonic form. They may not sound the way you want them to yet, but play around with this. I encourage you, choose a different key, choose the notes, and or do the scale twice, and then skip a note, play a note, skip a note, write it all out. You'll see all of it's lined up right there. So, you know, play with this a little bit. I think we're going to have to touch this one more time to get in a little bit deeper with it. But you guys take care. Have a blessed week.